Welcome to the Emerald Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy Doyle, and on this podcast I speak to different Irish athletes about their highs, their lows, biggest battles, biggest successes, and why they fell in love with their sport. In this episode I chat to Irish Hyrox athlete Róisín Egan. We chat about competing as an amateur and a pro, tips for training and competing, and so much more. Next up, Róisín Egan. Róisín, how are you? It's great to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, lovely. And thanks for having me anyway. It's probably my first one now I've done, so it mightn't sound the best, but may as well give it a go.
I know, that's great. Well, it's great that your first one you picked is the athlete, so that's great. I've no complaints at all. How are you feeling after the weekend?
Yeah, God, all I can say is it's a lot harder to come off a weekend where I suppose you don't perform as you'd hope compared to when you get a good result. It's mad. And I suppose it's something I've experienced, as in when I think about the races I've done in Hyrox, starting off, it was kind of up and down. And I remember there was one or two races after where I was like, am I even any good at this kind of thing? And you're just proper deflated. Probably after the one in maybe Bilbao last year and maybe the Worlds, where it was just I just know I was like, geez, that was terrible. And you just have this kind of feeling of being useless nearly. And so I suppose I didn't experience that in such a long time. Just I suppose this year in general that I could relate to it, but I forgot what it was like, that kind of way. So, because it's kind of mad. It's like I did two races for the first time back to back. And it's the best I felt physically, but the worst mentally. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
Do you know? But no, it was a really cool experience. It's kind of like did that just happen as such, and I would have never expected to be even in the Elite 15 this year. So if I have to take anything from it, I just have to kind of remind myself I got there. That was the first step, and I've learned a lot from just even doing the races this week in general that I'll be able to use. And then it's just it humbles you in a way that when everything's going smooth, you kind of get comfortable, and it's just it's kind of that motivation you need to be right, it's back to the drawing board again, and there's another level and another level and another level that you can keep trying to get to. So yeah, learned a lot, and a great week in general, and obviously seeing everyone and meeting everyone. It's just they're all so humble and sound, and yeah, very cool experience as a whole.
Yeah, and I tell you, I was watching it, Róisín, and I couldn't get over how ferocious the pace was and the intensity of it all, because obviously it's really intense anyway, just doing a Hyrox for anybody, but just the Elite 15 when I was watching it, whether it was singles or doubles, it just seemed so intense. Everyone was just going so fast. I felt, because I've done one myself, and I was just thinking, nobody here seems to be taking a break or just going through the motions a small bit. Did you feel that a lot when you jumped, let's say, from just doing one to going to the Elite 15?
Yeah, so I just feel I just feel I was nearly more nervous in my race for Dublin or my race in Poland, say, that I was I need to try and get a good time, do my best. Where I feel I was obviously so distracted by the whole event and the whole thing that when the minute that goes, it's the minute it goes, it's full on. It's full intensity for the entire race, and they don't slow down at all. I suppose in a normal race, the first run will always be the hardest run, nearly the quickest run out the gap, and then it kind of gradually eases off, and the top runners will kind of come out on top. But with this one, it's if you're anyway feeling off the pace, you'll be left for dust, which is kind of what happened to me as such. But I suppose when I looked around and looked at the athletes, you could see more experienced athletes take it. So it wasn't an event for them. It wasn't about the Elite 15. It wasn't about being at this arena. They were so focused on their performance and so zoned in that they knew what they had to try and get out of the race when they were there. So yeah, the intensity of it is just because even after Friday, like thinking about the doubles, I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, because I knew the intensity of it, and like just how much you have to exert in a race to get the best out of it. But no, it's 100% a different level, and you really just have to have everything nailed. And I've read it before, like, and seen people say like, oh, if you're 1% off, you're 1% off. But no, it's you have to be on your game, because I think when I look back, there's a few things now I can see clearly that I probably did wrong going into it. Like, I suppose the first thing was like I think perhaps went in overtrained. Like I suppose when I got the time in Poland, I didn't think I qualified for London, and even I didn't even know London was a regional Elite 15 previous to that. So then obviously schools closed, I had more time, and I just was doing not much more. Like my body was able for it, but like it was definitely overloaded. And then I suppose I overloaded for nearly 3 weeks, and then we had the week off, say going into Friday, and it kind of nearly took that off. So I would say number one, like even this week, I was just looking back at sessions, and it was like sharper, shorter, and it was I didn't have time because I was in school, so I could only do 90 minutes in the morning, or I could only do like max 90 in the evening, and it was like no choice out of there. But because I had more time, I was just doing more, and it just was like, I think it just really overloaded my body. Because if you're to base me on the race, I'd be like, God, my fitness has gone back. Like, it was like a race last year, how my fitness felt. But when I look at like my sessions, and I didn't take a week off, I didn't take a session off, I was still hitting like paces that I was hitting going into other races, but I was so off the mark. So I put that down to one, and then secondly, like I am mad for routine, like creature of habit. Have to, like, I pretty much eat the same thing every day. I train the same time, and like going to London, we'd no choice only to fly on the Monday to guarantee we'd get there. And like a few people were like, because I flew in to Katowice last minute and raced. People were like, oh, imagine if you flew earlier, like how would you? And in my head, it was like, it suits me. And it was the opposite. They were like, at least you'll have the week off. And I was like, living out of a hotel, not the food I'm going to eat, not the same gym I'm in. And I was like, I kind of blocked it out, but definitely, don't know, felt heavier going into the race. Just wasn't eating my proper food. You know when you go into a race and you're like, I feel like I'm in the best shape and I'm ready to tear this apart. For me, it was like, oh, I'm just going to block it out. Like, no, I didn't want to think about anything that could negatively impact it. But I put that down secondly, and like especially me as a runner who's not a runner, like you have athletes that are naturally thin and light, and like for me, it's not like I need to be really light, but I need to be at the optimal weight that I do all my other races to get the most out of it. Do you know? So because even Jess, who did the doubles, she said she didn't realize she was actually lighter, and she flew the race. So I put down that week probably had an impact. Like I think about being Thursday today, and I was like, Thursday last week felt like a month. The week was so long, it was so dragged out that I don't know. I just think personally that was another impact. And then obviously the Elite 15, the standard of it, the race itself, like I was way off the mark. So yeah, if I could go back, I'd change them three things. But I think hindsight's a great thing, and like I do genuinely believe no matter what someone tells you, you have to learn the hard way. And when you make a mistake once, you just know you won't make it again. Well, that's for me anyway. That's what I think going into it. Do you know? So yeah, like I suppose moving forward, like it definitely would impact your confidence. Like this week, it's like, where do I go from here? Or God, like I'm nearly doing workouts to prove myself wrong, or being like, okay, I can still do that and still do that. And then confidence wise, it's like, I suppose, yeah, it's just like your next race, you're lacking the confidence. But yeah, we just said like based on our time, we didn't even PB in the doubles, but we have a chance of going to Warsaw, you know. And I said in the last race, I was like, never again. You know, after Hyrox, first thing that comes out of your mind. But like it's hard to miss up on opportunities as well when Jess and I won't be able to race again next year, considering we're from different places. And then it's like, do I try and justify myself in a race in 3 weeks' time if it wasn't my fitness? And just try and implement the things I did wrong in the last one into this one and just see. It could be the best thing I did, or else it's just like back to the drawing board. So yeah, there's just so much to it, I suppose. And you're always learning. There's almost so much to learn in it, you know.
So, Roisin, just after you're telling me all that, just about going to school, teaching all day, then taking into account like trying to train in the evenings, like how tough that actually is, because you're competing against people who are like PTs, so like they can, get up in the morning. Obviously, they have to train hard too, but going into work, doing a day's teaching, trying to do your workouts the evening, like that's so tough. Like, what would be your schedule, or what way would you work it? Are you in that mode where it's like, oh, this is a big part of my life now, I have to train so hard every evening just like to kind of keep up, or what way do you kind of focus or think about it?
Yeah, I suppose like I said, I just love routine, and I think it's one of the highlights of teaching is that like you're guaranteed set hours that you're going to work every day. Um, and so like for me, I've tried to use it as an advantage, as in like once I've the set routine, like I'm so used to it now that it doesn't affect me that much. And then living in Dubai obviously helps because like when I go home for Christmas, getting out of the bed in the morning kills me. Like it's so hard. Whereas here, it's nearly the culture here that a lot of people train in the morning, so you don't feel like you're on your own as such. But no, generally, like my school starts like I have to be in school for 7:15. Now this sounds crazy because I'm in Dubai. Like I think it sounds, if you're in Ireland, it might sound a bit crazy, but like I suppose I get up maybe I'd be in the gym for maybe I'd start 7, 6, maybe in the gym for around 5:15, half 5, and then get in about a 90-minute session in the morning.
Wow.
And for me, like it's kind of like a peace of mind, because when you have a hard session that evening, you think about it all day.
Yeah.
So I think like getting it done in the morning before I'm in school nearly settles me. Um, and then it's only when I slow down, or if I'm only coming back, I'm like, how did I do that? Like, God, get up every morning, like how, or even like when we're back teaching this week, it's like, oh, getting up because we had Ramadan there, and
Yeah.
it was so nice to get the extra hour in bed. But no, I'd normally just do the 90 minutes before school, and then after school we finish up here around 3:15, so I'd be in the gym for around maybe 4, and then home for 6. So because I've such a routine, it helps. Like sometimes I find if I'm off school, I find it harder to get to the gym twice in the day, because I might wake up, eat breakfast, then go to the gym, and then you're like home again. You're like, oh, it's kind of hard to go to the gym again. Or when you have to get up early when you're not in school, it's kind of like no one else is doing this.
Yeah.
You kind of it's different. Whereas like when you have a reason to get up, it's like what's an extra hour, in the morning. But the routine of it 100% helps me. And then I suppose when it comes to Saturday and you get that extra rest in bed, it's just like you nearly feel revived and you're good to go for the weekend. So it's just a case of getting to Friday and then you have the weekend. So no, I get what you're saying. I suppose the only thing is the sleep. Like it's hard to get the additional sleep, and when all athletes talk about like rest and recovery, that's the only thing that I would probably miss out on. But at the minute, when I know no better, I suppose it doesn't affect me too much. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the take I take on it at the minute. Um,
Yeah.
and like I said, there's so many people out here that train in the morning that they'd understand getting up at half 5. Whereas if I was in Ireland, I think I'd struggle.
Yeah.
Do you know?
The Irish half 5 would be a totally different story.
Oh, I can't. Like freezing cold. The gym is cold. It's just miserable. Whereas here, it's so easy. It's so much easier. It's just warm. You don't even have to put on a jumper. Do you know?
Yeah.
So
Different
yeah, it definitely helps.
different feeling. Yeah, different feeling completely. But I tell you what, Roisin, you've just told me that I need to spend longer doing my workout too. Because just when you said 90 minutes, I was thinking to myself, there goes my, standard 60-minute workout. And would you be doing like, is there morning classes you do, Roisin, or do you have your own kind of setup and program you do that you kind of go along and do?
Yeah, like initially I had a coach, Michael, who runs Athlete out here. He runs a gym, and I kind of had him for a year and just followed his program. But then he actually just running a gym and being an athlete himself, he just became so busy that he kind of was like he felt like he wasn't going to do one on one in general for many people. And so when I just ended with him, I was kind of going to see how Dublin went, and then based on how Dublin went, I would look at coaches then. So at the minute, I'm just doing my own sessions, and I've never really done classes. I find like I get so distracted, and I find it very hard to take things serious when I'm in a group. I'm messing, I'm talking, I'm like, oh, la di da. So for me, I benefit from training on my own. Um, and then I find like I think classes are really good, and especially for fitness. Like if you want to be anywhere fit, like doing classes will 100% get you fit, and they're so sociable, and you make so many friends, and like especially out here, like it's so easy to do competitions then because you've such a group of friends out here. But I think to improve, like to progressively improve, like I wouldn't see myself benefit too much from them. You know what I mean? Like if it's a structure class and you're going off it like based on numbers and stuff, 100%. But then like when I look at my training schedule in the week, like I might say take Monday handy, and then Tuesday might be like a hard running day. So if someone was like, "Hey, do you want to do a class on Monday?" I'm like, "No, I can't because I need to mind my legs. I need to make sure I'm fresh on Tuesday." And it's similar. Like I might do a class once a week, but in general, I wouldn't because it doesn't fit in kind of with the plan I've and in my head. And then I just think like to get what I want out of a session, it mightn't fit with the session I do. So I just do my own program at the minute, and it's been going well. I think as you get better, like I suppose I've improved from last year to this year, and the quicker you get, the harder it is to find those small improvements. And I think that's kind of the mistake I made going into the race at the weekend was like, okay, I got another minute PB. How do I get better again? So I tried to add more in and do more. And I just think it's more about perfecting what you're doing already and getting better at that. And just like, can I back that up again and again and again until it's so solidified that like that's your base. So yeah, it's like it. I think I just need to go back to the basics. Like if it's not broke, like why change it? So it'd be more like just doing what I was doing consistently, and perhaps like maybe getting a specific coach. So like running is somewhere where I'm sure if I got a running coach, they could look at me in 5 seconds and correct my form straight away without even getting technical enough. And then just probably more structured running program to see like where I could really improve because like I've never done a test. I've never done a lactate test. I've never done any test to know where my fitness is at. So I suppose that's just more specific as time goes on. But at the minute, yeah, I'm just doing my own bit. So yeah.
No, unreal. And do you know what? To get up in the morning, I suppose, and like just put yourself through your paces, and you're on your own doing your own bit. Like mentally, even that's building for like the intense sessions that you'll be doing leading up to the Hyrox, as well. It's just unreal. And if we have any listeners, Roisin, that are like, let's say, wanting to get started to train for Hyrox, or they're going in to do a Hyrox, let's say, what tips would you give them? Would you have any like do's and don'ts that you're just like definitely don't do that, or this is something you could do, even something you might have learned along the way when you were doing it?
Yeah, like for me, it's like when you talk about the motivation, for me, it's never a problem because like I don't know, intrinsically, when I first did my first Hyrox, I viewed it as in like, okay, this isn't skill, and maybe it's genetics, but the harder you train for this, the better you can get. Like, I remember doing my first one, and I was like, if I just do this, I'm 100% going to get better. And there was even a stage where I was like, is this genetics? Like, is this down to natural ability? Like, but doing Dublin was going to clarify that, because I did a massive training block, and it was either like, if I don't improve here, then it's just, this is the best I can get. But the fact I went 5 minutes quicker, having done a training block on my own, I was like, right, you can actually get better at this if you train this the right way.
Yeah.
So, but from the get-go, it was like the fact the race was the same, and it was a time thing. It was like, it was just so addictive to me. Like, it was like, okay, because CrossFit, I was like, can't do muscle-ups, can't do. Marathon, I'll never be quick enough. I'm definitely not like enough of a light athlete to run marathons. So for this, it was like something that like I could actually do everything and try and get better at. So the first thing was like, I was never forced. And I think if you force it, like, you're gonna hate it as such. So it's like, you have to want to do it. Like, it's not for Instagram, or it's not for the likes. Yeah, you can do one, but it's like, the real reason behind I do it is because I actually love the training, and just, you can see yourself progress, get better, because everything's measured. It's like your running's measured, like how quick you do things is measured. So like, I didn't know what the numbers on the ski meant, or the row, and now I know. Like, it's like when I'm doing a session, it's like I'm measuring the session, and that just keeps me going. And then secondly, I would say, like, for me starting off, I actually did everything wrong. I personally believe, like, I did everything wrong, because I did my first one, and the strategy I used straight after was like, let's just do Hyrox a week in the gym, and I think I was doing like 1 or 2 Hyroxes in the gym a week, and I still improved, because I went from 116 in my first open to 103. So it was like, it worked at the time because of where my fitness was at. So if you're someone starting off, who's starting off with like, just starting off and wanting to get better, no matter what you do, if you do consistently, it's going to work. But see, I think people are looking and thinking like at the elite level. It's like, don't do this run, or don't do this. But they're at the top.
Yeah.
And if you're at the top, you have to be specific with what you do to get even better. Whereas like, if you're just starting off, it's about just like moving and like sticking to a plan and just doing it for a consistent block, and you'll get better. So like, I went from doing a Hyrox once a week, and then I did my open and got 103, and I was like, okay, I won the open, now I'll do a pro. So then I did Doha and the Worlds, and in Doha my wall balls were like 11 minutes, like completely crumbled. I was like, I wanted to tap out, only the judge was like, you have to finish. You got to the wall balls. And the Worlds then was just a case of going to the Worlds. But after the Worlds, then it was like, I was kind of moved from doing Hyroxes a week to doing like just really short intervals. Nearly like saying, oh, I'll just run like 10 by 2 minutes, and each week I'll get this quicker and quicker and quicker. But I couldn't, no matter what. So like, when I look back, it was like, it might be like 10 by 2 minutes, and then the next week I might have increased it a small bit, or over a period of time, but like, I was stuck. So that's when it was like my base, and that's where like your base comes in, and like your general fitness. So like, for me to get better, I just had to get fitter, and I had to improve my base before I was going to improve my speed. So in that time, I signed up with Michael, and he gave me like just a brilliant structured program, like in terms of like conditioning, strength conditioning, and a mixture of running.
Róisín, I know you've done lots of Hyroxes like in different places. Is there any place that you travelled to and did one that was like your favourite? And do you like make it a holiday, or are you kind of just, I'm in and I'm out? What kind of way do you do it?
Yeah, I'm a very in and out kind of person. Because it's so hard when you go to Hyrox. Like, the minute you see an airplane or an airport, it's like holiday mode, and like, I never crave much, but when I go to the airport, it's like, oh, I just want to eat nice food. But no, I generally, especially being a teacher, like, I just have to maximize the time I have. So I generally fly in. Ideally, like, it's nice to fly in, get one night's sleep, have the day then to kind of just recover, and then race the next day. So like, Istanbul, I flew on a Wednesday night. I had the Thursday to recover, and then we raced Friday. And Katowice I flew in the night before. So no, I actually think it suits me just to fly in and fly home as soon as I can. But it's mad because you still do get to see a bit of the country, and it's more the atmosphere at each race. Like they're all different, but I suppose I've been to Poland twice, and like positive experience for both. The races there are really good, and like there tends to be a lot of Irish at them. Um, so no real, I can't really say one is better than the other, but like I went to India, and God, that was a bit of an experience, just like how run down the country was, and yeah, it was just like there wasn't many comforts there. Like the taxi was fairly broke up as such. So no, I would say it all kind of similar. And the more European ones, the more likely you are to bump into Irish. Because I don't know if you know like Laura Harold, and she's a physio there in Dublin. But like I
Okay.
just met her. She and her husband do like they'd be big in Hyrox like, and I just met her at the race, and now like I'd meet her a good few times, and do you know it's just mad the people you meet at it, and the people you bump into, and then like they really do stay in contact through Instagram and stuff. So yeah, no real highlight as such. Nice was cool as well, but I think where the races go well, I can say the place was good. But where the
Yeah.
races were bad, I'm like, oh no, didn't like that, didn't like that country, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, and I think there's something like I know you did Dublin and you might have done I don't know Sharjah in Dubai as well and or in the UAE, but I think there's a special feeling like about maybe going to Europe and just when you bump into someone from home and you're just like someone you don't expect to see or something like that, or you just by hearing a chat from another group and you're like they're definitely Irish, and you're just like I don't know, I think it's like a good feeling just to see that.
yeah, it's mad. Like you just wouldn't expect it because like the country's so big, but like it's so mad. You just end up bumping into anyone you know slightly. You'll bump into, and I just think it makes the whole Hyrox experience. Like it's when you walk away from the experience, and apart from the race, like you're like, oh God, there's so many sound people out there, and you end up having great chats, and some of them you just stay in contact with. So like it's those parts of the Hyrox that I suppose people don't um people don't think about that actually are a really good highlight. Because even I was chatting to Irish in London, like just right before going on for the doubles, and again, like Irish people are so funny. Do you know that you do get a great laugh out of those that you do meet, and then like if there's one Irish in the crowd, you'll hear them cheer you on in a race, and
Yeah.
it's mad what it does in a race. How psychologically you just like you're like, okay, I have to keep going. So yeah, definitely the European races are definitely the best ones, but the standard's so high, of course, that you really have to be prepared for them.
Yeah, no, it's unreal, and I definitely do say that will count as well. Like with just when you're so bet, you hear someone roar your name, or just
Yeah,
get behind each other. It's just such a great feeling. And did
yeah,
you feel this, Roisin? Because I even noticed this when I was watching the weekend, and it's like I do find it crazy because I know when you're running a marathon, right? There's like water stations, and you're just jogging, but the fact High Rocks like is like upper body strength and you're running, and it seems like there's never you never get a break, especially if you're singles on your own. Do you find it just like nearly mad when you're going through everything that's like I'm actually really not going to get a break here. You might take a couple of seconds at a station, but like literally you're just doing it for an hour, close to an hour if not more, and there's like no break.
yeah. Well, like it's gas because when you look at Hyrox on Instagram, or when you're like, oh, I'll sign up for this Hyrox, like it's so exciting and it looks so good. And even when you're at a Hyrox and you see people running around, it's just like it looks like oh they're just running around, but when you're in it, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so physically tough. And I remember someone saying in a podcast, being like, it's actually like the level. It's so like tough. Like it's so underestimated how hard it is. And obviously, the harder you go, like the harder it's going to be. But and like I've never ran a marathon actually, and I'd often be like, which is harder, Martin or Hyrox? And they all say a Hyrox because it's so intense from the get go.
Yeah.
But and like when you're in it, like there's been many times where you're like, this is just so hard, or like I'm never doing this again. And
Yeah.
the minute you're done, then you're like within 5 minutes, especially now within 5 minutes, I'm kind of recovered, and it's just like, okay, you're looking at where did you do wrong, or what did you do again, or what can you change, and you're like, okay. So yeah, I suppose like that's why it is, even though it's short and intense, it is endurance too, because you just don't stop. And it's all about like trying to sustain a certain level for the 60 or whatever minutes it is. So you really have to, like, if you want to feel controlled, you really have to have that base where you can kind of, you're pushing but you're not out of control. Because like once you hit your out of control sense, you're just like, it's just torture for the entire thing. But like I'd always say to anybody, like some people are always like, oh, will I sign up for this Hyrox, or I won't be able. And like if they played any bit of sport at all, I'm like, you 100% will be able. Like
Yeah.
I would always encourage someone just to do it, even if you have to walk, just do it, complete it. And it's so mad how much you learn just from doing one. Like whether it's penalties, whether it's like which stations you liked, which you didn't like, how your running was, just do it. Because I would rather do what I did, just do one and be like, okay, now I know what I need to do to get better, than train for one and then do one and maybe be disappointed because you did a penalty or you went the wrong station, or because even just getting used to the structure alone is a lot. Like it's only now, like even 3 years later, that I'm kind of like, okay, I don't want to stress as much about the race as such, and like just even the experience of like being on the start line and what to expect or what to even think about, it just comes from doing one. Like I even got a penalty at the weekend, and I'm like, okay, I won't do that again. But you
Yeah.
won't learn unless you just do it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So the message is just basically sign up, go after it, and just do it, and you'll get through it, and you'll learn
yeah,
from it. You know.
yeah, yeah,
And Roisin, like, is there? I know I'm asking you this, and it's like I know it's all kind of pure torture because everything is tough. But is there any like part of it where you're like, this is my real strength now, and this is the one where I kind of make ground up, or I just kind of like I can do this quick? Is there anyone like you enjoy that you look out for?
yeah. Like I would say, like I'm not a natural runner, and like the running is the biggest thing I've always had to work on. Like just like even when I played sport, like the year before I moved out, we were like in the All Ireland series, and we GPSed like, and I was last like on the GPS, and that's not me making up lies or not being dramatic, but I was last. And if I'm being honest, I was fortunate enough because I was skillful, and my biggest asset was I could read the game. So like my speed, I didn't actually need that much speed as such. Um, and then when I came to Dubai, like that was the first time I kind of got into running a bit, and I've had to spend so much time running. Um, but the running, yeah, is it would have been like the weakness of mine, as in if I stop training, it's the first thing that will go 100%. And like compared to other athletes, some athletes would be rapid on the runs, and then their stations would let them down. So I find my fitness and my general physique is probably stronger than most other people, that would have helped me. Like if you were to look at doubles and singles, I would probably, doubles does not suit me as much because it helps the runners. They're only doing half the station so they can get back on the run. Whereas for me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to rely on them to get tired in the station so I can maintain my run. But it's interesting because like in Dublin, like the sleds really benefited me. I came out first after the sleds, but then the burpees, the lighter ones just flew by me on the burpees. And then like it's like when you then be like, okay, I'm going to get better in the burpees, it's like something else goes. So it's the thing about Hyrox. It's like it's so unpredictable. And like one race you'd be like, oh, my burpees were good and my ski was good, and then you're like, oh, my sled was terrible. So I think it's about like, for me at the minute, my next goal is to mentally train myself. That like when you're done a station, it's not like recover. It's like try and get back out as quick as you can. Like mentally, even in training, it's like go from a station to a run as quick as I can. and it's no well, that's what the elite is like. Like in a normal race, it would have been like get in the run, get in the sled, okay, recover a bit, and get back on the run. Elite, it's like get in the run, get in, get the sled done, get back out as quick as you can. So it's even a mindset switch, and like that's where I think doubles is going to really benefit me because it's training me to be like even with your partner, it's like just follow your partner. And if your partner's good, it's like they're training you to be like, get back out on the sled, right, chase her. You have no choice. So the mental aspect, yeah. And then I suppose the wall balls has kind of become a strength of mine because like so many people at the minute like crumble on the wall balls. And apart from the weekend, I would have done 3 races in a row with the unbroken wall balls. And it was definitely knocked me up a place or two in races like in Ghent. I came in second against Emily, and she was on like 15 wall balls, and I just managed to pass her out in like 98. And then in Katowice, I think I came in fourth, and I ended up in third position. So yeah, it's just a strength of mine. But the thing about it is, like, so many people are getting so good that like it's very hard to find a good athlete now that's weak in a station. Like at the minute, wall balls is probably affecting most of the good runners, but it's only time that they're going to be able to break out 100 unbroken. So yeah, it's just a tough one because you just have to constantly get better and better and better, and that's the way it's going to go. So yeah, I suppose like the sleds would have been good and the wall balls. Like farmers carry, I actually hate it. Can't do it for the life of me, and I don't know why. Because I feel like I should be able to, but I find actually that one of the hardest. And then the burpees, like the lighter you are, it's like running. The lighter, the smaller you are, the quicker you will be. So yeah, it's just like you'll never stop having to improve for as long as you're doing the sport. So yeah.
It's the only I find unbelievable, Roisin. It's like when I think of like a hurling or a soccer match, right? And there's like 2 sprints left or two, and like you can, it's basically like you can sprint the length of the pitch. Like you'll never see it happen. But I just can't understand how somebody can do the whole thing and then get to the wall balls, which is the last thing to do, and they can do it unbroken without any rest. I just can't get it my head around how someone is
Yeah.
physically just able to get there and do it. Like,
Yeah, I suppose like I was like last year I was getting 107, 107, 107. And then there's 2 things I said I was going to do. I was like, I didn't go to Worlds. I was like, I'm going to, well, everyone else is training for Worlds and then they're going to need to take the off season. I'm just going to run. I'm just going to get as fit as I can, extremely fit. I'm just going to run as much as I can. And I was also looking at my scores and I was like my wall balls, I don't know what they're averaging, but like to take a minute off a run is massive. Whereas to take a minute off wall balls, I was like, if I can just do unbroken, that's a minute. That's a minute work as opposed to like nearly a year of work of running to just get that quick. So I was like even when I was used to have to break like maybe do 20, 30, 20, and then I did it in Dublin, but it's mental too. It's mental, like it is the mental aspect as well because like I heard someone say before, like when you start hurting in a wall ball, like it's like if you start hurting maybe doing another exercise, it kind of gets worse, and you get more out of breath, and it gets worse and worse. Whereas if you do wall balls, it gets to the point where it hurts, but then it stops. And nearly you sit in that, and you're like used to it then. So if you can break that mental barrier, it actually does go away. Do you know what I mean? Like in Katowice, I was like, there's no way I can do 100. And then I was in it and I was like, every like 10, I was like, okay, I'm going to break. And then I was thinking, like, if I put this ball down, the thoughts of picking it back up is worse. So you just say go on, and like the higher number you can get to. Like someone said, get to 70. And I guarantee if you get to 70, you'll have 30 more in you. So mental strategies help, and then obviously training it the right way. You know, like if you just go into workouts and you're like, oh, 400-meter ski, 20-meter sled push, and 20 wall balls. That's fine, like in a workout, if you're good at wall balls. But to get better, you have to take it. You have to take the wall balls, pull them out separately, and focus on them. So just as you will progressively improve your run, do workouts that will progressively improve your wall balls. So then say you've done like 4 weeks of just focusing on a wall ball workout. Maybe it's an EMOM. Okay, now you can do like every minute and a minute for 10 minutes, 20 wall balls. and then you find, okay, 100 broken seems okay. Then it's okay to do like workouts, conditioning workouts with like maybe 20 wall balls in them, or 30, or because you're just kind of keeping on top of it. But like you're not, I don't think you will get 100 unbroken by just adding them into workouts. You have to take them separately as such. But it is achievable, and like I do think, like, for me now, I know it's a mindset thing. Like I went in on the weekend and I just broke. I was like, there's no point putting me through the mental torture when I'm not going to gain from this. But I think deep down I probably would have had it in me if I knew there was something at stake. And if you know you can do it once, then it's nearly like if I drop it now, I might drop it again, so I can't drop it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just all in the mind and just doing the right training and conditioning. And when you do it once, then you'll be like, okay, it is actually achievable.
Yeah, and it's unreal when you think about it that way, because I have done it, and I have to say I agree with you. When you put down the wall ball, it is soul destroying to try and pick it back up again. So it's nearly like save yourself that mental torture alone.
No, it
Go and pick
is.
it up again,
It is.
just go.
It's like when I used to do like 20, 25, it feels like, oh my God, 100. I'm never going to get there. Whereas it actually, it feels so much easier just to think, right, just do 100. Like, just get it out of the way, get it as done as quick as you can. And even if you break at 70, see, if you get to 70, more than likely you'll have to break once, if not twice. So you might get to 70, and then if you get to 90, you're going to do 100. Whereas if you get to 40, you're like, oh my God, I have 60 more. Then you might do 15, you might do 20, and it feels like just a struggle. So the higher number you can get, the easier, because once you break once, you'll have to break less then after.
Yeah, just a psychological thing that you've only so much left, to do. Like, when you say
Yeah,
40 versus 70, like it's a big difference mentally to getting yourself ready to do it. Like,
yeah. No, massively, yeah.
and tell me, Roisin, if with the Hyrox, because there's so many kind of I suppose different activities and things now being set up, and Hyrox kind of to change the courses slightly in different places as well. If there was is there any overall change or something in Hyrox you would love to see changed or done differently? Is there anything that I suppose comes to mind?
No, I suppose like I just like the way it's standardized, and obviously you have the new system in place now with the points where it's no longer based on time. Um, and like I obviously see massive benefits to that, because I do see a massive difference in courses. Like, and it's no fault of anybody. It's just like I just believe some courses are quicker than others. Some are nice, some are not, and it makes it fair, as in like whoever comes first and second will get the most points. But then I just think the financial side is the only negative aspect for me. Like it's a very expensive sport, financially, and like it's just then like it's like doing 5 races in the year. It's like that's where for me the pro athletes and full time athletes have the benefit, because like I'm a teacher. It's like getting time off work, finding the money to travel to these places, the expense of the tickets, and then like racing more often. It's like, how is a person working 5 or 6 days a week expect to find the time off to fly to a weekend away to do a Hyrox and then be back and work again? So for me, the only negative is the financial side. And then like I actually find at the minute, like, with the worst thing for me is like being in work on Monday morning after doing a race. Like, recovery wise, my body isn't that sore at the minute, and then like it's fine flying in Sunday night, but that day in work on Monday kills me. It's the lack of sleep that just destroys me. So the only thing about me that I find I suffer with is the fact that like I'm teaching at the minute. So like if I want to do, like if I see, oh, Barcelona, that's a really good race to do, that like I feel I'll be able to train for that, I can't, because I'm like, well, if I'm going to Stockholm and I'm going to here and I've been to here, I don't have this time. So it's finding the time, as like a full time teacher to race, and then the financial aspect. But I suppose like the better you get, the more hopefully you are that like maybe a few benefits will come your way. Do you know, like there was prize money at the EMAs, and based on where I came, it covered the cost of my trip. And it's like, okay, that was a benefit. Like, that helped. But to be getting that all the time, or to be like fully sponsored, like to have flights maybe covered or tickets paid for, like, that's just, I suppose it's just like, it's just something that would help a lot if it was there. But financially, yeah, it's a lot. But I suppose if you love it, and I suppose because I'm always training now and I don't really go out that much, I'm kind of putting my money towards it, and you just hope it pay off somewhere or another. So that's the only thing I change. I think the rules are fair. I think the course it's good. Like, if anything, you just want, like, yeah, it's good because you see unbelievable runners race and they don't actually come first. And it's like, okay, it just clarifies it's not a running race. And it does challenge you. And I've seen people do marathons and then try and do Hyrox, or try and do like different sports and be like, oh, sure, I'm a triathlete, I'll be good at this. And it's crazy because it's a sport that needs respect, and you have to train specifically for it if you want to be good at it. So yeah, can't really say anything negatively about the sport, except for the demands in terms of financially, and like how much they expect you to race next year when it's not your full-time job.
Yeah.
You know.
And would you ever think of, I suppose, as just when you were thinking there, you're going on about flights and tickets, and I think there's so many like hidden costs as well, Róisín. Like, you want to get your best runners, so you're getting your Puma Nitros or whatever they call them, and like if you're constantly running, like then they're going to wear it out. You have to get another pair, and they're not cheap.
Yeah.
And then you're getting your gear, you're getting your shorts and your t-shirt, and you're wearing it and washing it, and next minute you have to go buy another one. You know, there's all like hidden things in that when you're training so much as well.
No, massively, like, and like it's even like, I suppose, my sister did one in Ghent, with me. We did just a doubles on the Friday, and then I raced on the Sunday. But like, she had to buy another ticket. She had to buy a spectator ticket, even though she'd raced on the Friday. And like, it's just some things that kind of like, I love the sport so much and I talk so highly of it, but it's hard to disagree that there is a lot of financial gain for them where they could help the general public more. Because like, the best thing about Hyrox is it's for everybody. But like, it, like, especially the point system, like that's going more towards, like, for me, like, actually, I don't know if I can do Hyrox if I'm a full-time teacher and race that much, because I know, like, here we have more breaks, we spring breaks, and like we eat and stuff. But in Ireland, like, unless you do course days, it's very difficult to get a day off work as such. So there's 100% hidden costs, and like, yeah, like, you really, any sort of benefit helps. You know, just to support you in any way, it helps massively. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to. I think it'd be sad in a way that if like the Elite 15 are stopping people from really doing great, would be like you know having another job. So where it was only PTs that maybe could get to the top or do really well because others had jobs. I think they should kind of help people out, especially when it gets to the elite stage, definitely, or to the higher end where they definitely help people who might need it as well. Like, you shouldn't be feeling like that you should need to leave teaching to do something else, or that that it should obstruct you that much, financially, or just to even get to races. It shouldn't be like that at
Yeah.
all.
Well, like, it's just it's the time at the minute that would be the biggest obstacle. And then, like, I suppose, like, the better you do get, like, it's like, I suppose getting into the Elite 15, like, it will help me get more opportunities as such. Like, Puma were kind of on to me just about sending out, like, kit and stuff, and you'd have one or two other kind of people reach out, but you really have to be, like, in that top 15, solidified in that top 15, and then you're guaranteed to be rewarded. So, like, it is an incentive or a motivation to be like, if I can just get more, if I can just get to the top, keep getting there and sit there, you're more than likely going to, like, benefit from it. So, like, you will be rewarded, but it takes a lot. You have to like, it takes everything. Like, you have to be at the top to benefit from it. Because even like all those Elite 15s, it's like they are they are getting their prize money and they deserve it, but they do so much to get there. Like all those 15 athletes racing are just training so much and they're so committed, and they deserve to get there. But it's getting there that's the hard thing, you know. And if you're not there, like you really, it will make you question, like, what am I doing this for? But at the end of the day, like, the reason why I started was for the love of the sport and for nothing else. So, like, if there was no such race, I would still probably train the same way and still probably do the same thing. So, yeah, I suppose you just have to stay going and just see the way it folds out, like.
Yeah, no, geez, and I tell you what, talk of mental strength to be able to teach mentally to do that mental job just with kids all day, and then to do the mental strength of just going to do your workout and all of that as well, and compete and travel. Like, if it's not a sign of mental strength, Roisin, nothing is. You know what I mean? It's definitely not. As
Yes.
a fellow teacher, I'll definitely back you on that,
Yeah.
100%. Um,
Yeah. No,
and
thank God
Roisin,
there is.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you're grand. Go on, you go ahead there.
I was just going to ask you, have you got any? Is there any other Hyrox races coming up, or what are you looking to next? Have you got anything on the list?
Yeah, so I think, like, I suppose after the weekend, after such like a deflating performance, I was kind of like, oh, I just won't mind. Like, I'm very like all in or nothing, so it's nearly like I want to go away again and do a big chunk and just see, like, go back to the drawing board and get better and then race again. But I think Jess was saying that based on her time and the current leaderboard, like, we're probably sitting like 15th or 16th for Warsaw in the doubles. And as she said, like, it could be our last time to race together. And then as she said, like, I don't know, we'll know if it was a reflection of my fitness or not. But, like, if it wasn't a reflection of my fitness and if we raced the way we raced in Istanbul, like, we would have been very close to, like, a podium finish as such, because, like, we got a 56:19 in Istanbul and the majority of people PB'd, so we would have been looking at like a 55, but we didn't even PB. So um like, she swears that, like, if we raced the way we did in Istanbul, if we raced the same running times, we would have done really well. And, like, with the doubles, like, already, I think nine, like, nearly all teams have already qualified, and there's some teams that we've bet that have qualified already. So, like, as she said, like, the roll down now to qualify is, like, you could place ninth and qualify for Worlds. So yeah, all going well. If I suppose, like, if we get the call and we're feeling good, we might just go for Warsaw. I think, like, it's a missed opportunity, and I suppose, like, if you just put ego out of the way and just race regardless of how you feel and just go for it, because we've nothing to lose. If we qualify, we qualify. If we don't, it's our last time to race together anyway.
Yeah.
So that would probably be one race, and then obviously I qualified for Worlds, so, like, all going well, I might just aim for that and see what I can get in my age group. And then that'll be it for this year, and then I'll take a bit of a break.
Yeah, a
Um,
well-deserved break.
yeah, because it's intense, and, like, even set out this year, like, I didn't race to Dublin, so I felt like I hadn't raced at all. And then I did Dublin, and then I did Ghent 3 weeks later, and then I was like, grand, took a break over the Christmas. I was just like, it's you. I'm all or nothing. See, I'll go all in, and then I'll go all out, and then I'll go. I'm not like, oh, I'll just stay kind of, you know. But I think it works well for me, because, like, took a break Christmas, and then it was like Istanbul was the only race I'd lined up, and then all of a sudden I did Poland, and then I did London, so they were planned. And, like, now I'm like, God, it's a long year, and, like, if anything, the best thing to do was kind of at the beginning of the year, don't panic, like, hold out and pick an A race and, like, really train for it, and don't think like, oh, everyone's racing now already at the beginning of the year, and, oh, just hold out and, like, pick your races and stick with it. And I think that's the best strategy, because even when I was doing Dublin, maybe like 6 or 7 weeks in, I was like, oh, will I race? Won't I? Oh, like, everyone's racing now. And I just held out, and I think it was the best thing ever, because now I'm like, there's no panic. The year is so long. And there's still so many races. Like, there's, like, Berlin, Barcelona. It's a long year that the less you can race, the better, I think. Do you know?
Yeah. No, you could definitely get race happy and travel happy where you could just like, go online, book your ticket, book the flight, and you just keep,
Yeah,
you'd be on a buzz.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, no, I definitely say there's lots of people doing that or making that mistake, I'd say.
yeah.
And Roisin, tell me, when you're doing doubles, because I always hear this because I've never done a doubles myself, is it like tactically a little bit different because there's like passing of the bag and then there's there's some people like doing the pull and there's just like you don't want to step outside the lines. Do you have to approach it a bit differently than the singles?
Yeah, well, like the first one we just did together was Istanbul, and we actually managed not to get any penalties, and we never did a session together. Like the first and foremost thing I would say is like, even though you're doing doubles, you have to be as fit as you can be because your partner's relying on your fitness. So like, it's not like you need to train together because it's more like when you come together, it's like saying, are you as fit as you can be? Because I am. Okay, let's go do the doubles. Then the second thing is like you're relying on your weakest runner. So the weakest runner, you have to go off your weakest runner. As in like you need to plan it so that when you get off the station, there's no point like say you and a partner do it. There's no point you being ready to go on the run because I did half the station and then the person behind you struggling because you have to slow down. So if you feel like you're a better runner, it's about you kind of saying, right, I'm going to start the sled and finish the sled. So when we go running, you're ready to go. That's kind of the strategy we would do. Like it's nearly like you're trying to, and then like if you're both fairly competitive runners, it's like nearly trying to race your partner. Like I
Yeah.
remember I come off the, like if you come off the row, you're fatigued, and like I remember Jess was like, "Oh, right, we'll slow down," and I was like, "No, Jess, just go. I want to try and chase you. Like I just have to try and keep up with you. You set the pace and you go." So I think the biggest thing for me in terms of strategy would be that you plan the race so that there's not one person ready to go, raring to go on the run, and the other person is struggling just because you said you do half the stations or share the stations. Like if you find your partner struggling, take more of the load so that when you're running, even you having taken more load, your fatigued is the same as your partner's best. Um, and then with the stations, yeah, it's key. You just know the rules. Like you just know the rules because you get penalised. And sometimes it takes you doing one race together to learn those rules. Like the sled pull, you have to be out of the box. Burpees, the transition. Sandbag lunge, how are you going to pass the sandbag lunge? And then wall balls, it's like you have to be under the rig. Like just little things like that that you just know. And then the better you get at doubles, it's like how you execute each station. So like your burpees in a singles race would be way too slow. So it's like doing how can you maximize the burpees and do them as quick as you can. Um, how can you do them as quick as you can? So that might mean just doing 4. So if you can do 4 rapid rather than 10 slow, you're going to do better. So it's all about rapid as quick as possible, like doing as quick as possible. Like how many can you do explosively and then switch? And if there's no transition, switch as much as you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I did the doubles with my sister, and like we learned, like we got like 2, 3 penalties, but it was the best thing ever because I just knew them. You know what to expect, you know where to
Yeah.
avoid, and it's the thing about Hyrox. You just live and learn. You really do. No matter how much you talk or prepare for it, like just do one, and you learn so much from it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'd say, even as you say, the penalties, like it's nearly better early to make the mistakes because then you're going to focus on that going into your next races and
Yeah,
you're not going to make the mistake again. I
yeah,
always laugh and think a partner, when you're picking a partner, it's like nearly pick someone like that'll get onto you. So you're nearly afraid, like, if I don't do this right, this person's going to be on my back or you're not running fast enough, just someone that'll be on your case. Or if you're like that yourself, you're great for somebody else.
yeah. Well, like it definitely, like Jess is like an elite athlete. Like even when we did Istanbul the week before, and then we both did Poland. So we raced each other in Poland, like, and like on the lunges, it was like we're doing the doubles together. We're neck and neck. So we were very similar in terms of like our ability. Like I think our times were so close, like 10 seconds apart.
Wow.
So But she, I find, is actually probably a bit of a better runner than me. Like, her running is so good that, like, in the doubles, it just really, really pushes me. Like, it's
Yeah.
such a good training stimulus, and it's just like we both like really maximize, give everything. That, like, it's just when I did the doubles the week before and went to singles, I was like, oh my god, singles is so much easier, so less intense compared to the doubles. It's so intense. So, like, if anything, for the rest of the year, I'd love to just do more doubles with Jess, and then use that to help me improve in the singles, because it really does bring you to another level when you have a good partner like her.
Yeah, and as you were saying, if she has some sort of strength, like you're saying, her running, like obviously that's going to improve you if you're going at her pace, or
Yeah,
trying to match kind of her strength. And I always think as well, when I see people, it's like, well, how I would be feeling is, I know they can't start till I catch up with them, so I'm like, I know I'm denying them as well, so I'm like, I have to get that gap and catch up with
yeah.
them. You know what I mean?
No, it's honestly, like, it's the biggest learning thing I did from doubles. Like, if I was to say anything about the doubles and singles, I would say, like, I am actually probably better suited to singles, because I'm like, running is where I kind of like, or the stations is where I kind of say do better. When people do the stations, I'm like, okay, I can kind of maintain my run, and because the stations might hurt them a bit more, and it's not as rapid. It's more enduring, the singles, whereas doubles is like, it's like just so, it's like fast twitch. It's just so rapid, and like, I'm definitely a slow twitch person, so it just forces you out of that comfort zone. And I've seen many athletes now, like, who've done double races and then go to singles, and like their singles have just improved really, really good, because they've done so many doubles. So yeah, it's definitely an excellent way even to ease into it. I suppose there's less pressure, because if you are struggling, like, you have to do it together, like, and your partner will help you out, like, so there's less pressure, and it's just like a really good way of improving your singles for me personally. Yeah.
Well, I'm delighted to hear that, Roisin, because you're giving me an excuse to do a doubles with a partner rather than do a singles myself the
Yeah.
next time, so I can take the pressure off. So I'm going to thank you for that a lot. That's great news.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great news. Roisin, it was great to have you on the podcast, and it was great to hear all about Hyrox, how you're doing, and some tips as well. And look, I wish you all the best for your races coming up this year. You're doing great. And it was a great watch for myself to see you representing Ireland at the weekend as well, and such a well done on that, because it was just ferocious, as I said to you earlier.
Yeah. And well, thanks for having me. And I suppose, like, the only thing, like, despite racing terribly at the weekend, I suppose just the biggest thing was, like, the amount of support, like, from Irish people. Like, just, like, I do love Ireland. I think Irish people are gas, and like, they're the best, like, big up crew. And it kind of was just like a realization that, like, the amount of people that just text, like, seeing you on the TV, and like, oh, the girls were watching you, and it's like, it's kind of just bringing more of a light to Hyrox in Ireland, which is what I want. Like, I want to see it grow even more. And I think that was the highlight for me to take away, was like, so many Irish people follow, and like, just being a representation of Ireland and Hyrox on the TV. Like, I suppose that's a cool thing in itself, and if I can do that more often, then that's a goal in itself. So yeah, just have to make sure I don't do what I did in the last race in the next one, and hopefully I'll just be up from there.
Yeah, I've no doubt you will, Roisin. I know by even speaking to you, I've no doubt that you keep going, and you'll keep pursuing. You'll be back again.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, that's
Roisin.
it. Thanks very much for having me, and sure, I'm sure I'll speak to you again.
Absolutely. Thanks, Roisin.
Thanks a million.
Thanks for listening to the Emerald Athlete podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to leave a review, and don't forget to check out our Instagram page, the Emerald Athlete Podcast.